What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and we have some breaking news here. I remember seeing this tweet come out yesterday from Brian Armstrong, and they're being sued by the SEC. Now things are getting interesting. Remember, I told you folks September was going to be a volatile month. Now we're starting to see a lot of stuff happening. SEC is also suing Uniswap, so a lot of things are happening, and I would not be surprised if events keep unfolding and we get more surprises. That's why I always say, be ready for anything. We also had a market dump because of you know Michael Saylor probably front ran the market and they dumped on retail investors. So there's a lot of things happening, but I want to go through this thread of Brian Armstrong's detailing exactly what happened in in and what he was trying to do with Coinbase and what happened and what turned out to be a lawsuit by the SEC. So here he says some really sketchy behavior coming out of the SEC recently. Millions of crypto holders have been earning yield on their assets over the last few years. It makes sense. If you want to lend out your funds, you can earn a return. Everyone seems happy. And they're happy because with your bank accounts, you can't even earn anything. It's like 0.002%. Like it's pennies, that fractions of a penny that you can earn on your bank account. So people, instead of holding it in a bank account, decide, hey, I can earn 4%. Why not just put it in exchange and earn some interest on my money instead of holding it in a bank? So it's threatening the legacy systems. And it seems like Gary Gensler is for, protecting these legacy systems. And so anyways, I'm gonna continue here. A bunch of great companies in crypto have been offering versions of this for years. Coinbase came out recently and said we would be launching our own version. We're planning to go live in a few weeks, so we reached out to the SEC to give them a friendly heads up and briefing, okay, where you can go ahead and lend your assets, okay. And he said they responded by telling us this lend feature is a security. Okay, seems strange. How can lending be a security? So we asked the SEC to help us understand and share their view. We always make an effort to work proactively with regulators and keep an open mind. And remember, the SEC always says, hey, come. We've seen plenty of videos that they say, come talk to us, try to figure things out in good faith, and we'll try not to seek action against you, but keep an open dialogue. And they said that. But on the contrary, if you keep an open dialogue and try to work with them, they do the opposite and go ahead and sue you, it seems like. So obviously that doesn't work. Now he says they refuse to tell us why they think it's a security and instead subpoena a bunch of records from us. So they comply. They demand testimony from our employees and they comply. Then they tell us they will be suing us if we proceed to launch with zero explanation as to why. So, sorry about that. My dog over here is making some noises. Now, you want to say hi, yo? You want to say hi? Anyways, he says, look, we're committed to following the law. Sometimes the law is unclear, so the SEC wants to publish guidance. We are also happy to follow that. It's nice if you actually enforce it evenly across the industry equally, by the way. So, right here, he's trying to say, hey, give us some guidance, give us a clear understanding of what the laws are, and we'll be happy to follow it. And he's also referring to an equal playing field. Don't choose winners and losers, like you have with Ethereum. You know, if you apply everything equally and you treat everyone equally and you let the market decide, and you also give clarity on in the space, then also it'll help everyone out, and you're not ruling through enforcement because that doesn't work. Then he says, but in this case, they're refusing to offer any opinion in writing to the industry on what should be allowed and why, and instead are engaging in intimidation tactics behind closed doors. Whatever their theory is here, it feels like a reach or grab versus other regulators. So they're in competition, and that's probably with the CFTC, and it's a power grab. They want to have more and more power. But hopefully that may come to an end. He says, meanwhile, plenty of other crypto companies continue to offer a lend feature, but Coinbase is somehow not allowed to. And it's interesting because Coinbase, they have IPO'd, and so they're a public trading company. And a lot of people go to Coinbase because it's the most popular and it's the biggest exchange, especially for US residents. Now this is when you start wondering, hey, is this a way to not allow people to get involved with digital assets? And it almost um in a sense sways them away because they have a lawsuit on their hands, which, it's very popular for that to happen in very popular either stocks or even cryptos. Example, XRP. And Apple once had a lawsuit, I believe, with Cisco, and it obviously swayed a lot of investors away, retail investors. But you gotta wonder. Anyways, he continues here. He says, Gensler in his confirmation hearing, it's important for the SEC to provide guidance and clarity. Gensler said, sometimes that's a clarity that will be a thumbs up, but even if it's a thumbs down, it's important to provide that. If you don't want this activity, then simply publish your position in writing and enforce it evenly across the industry. Ostensibly, the SEC's goal is to protect investors and create fair markets. So who are they protecting here, and where is the harm? People seem pretty happy to be earning yield on these various products across lots of other crypto companies, which is true because they can't make anything in their bank accounts, in their savings. So obviously, shutting down would arguably be harming consumers more than protecting them. And by preventing Coinbase from launching the same thing that other companies already have live, they're creating an unfair market, and hence, they're picking winners and losers. In May of this year, I traveled to DC to meet with every regulator and branch of government I could. The SEC was the only regulator that refused to meet with me, saying we're not meeting with any crypto companies. This was right after we became the first crypto company to go public in the US. And here's Brian Armstrong talking about how he spent most of his week meeting with members of Congress in DC. Gensler had been confirmed just a month prior, so I brushed it off as the SEC still getting its feet under it. Now I'm not so sure. We've always tried to be good actors in this space, leaning into sensible regulation even when it is difficult or expensive. We try to think about what products we want for ourselves and what risks we would want our families to be aware of before launching products. We will keep following this approach. Yet here we're being threatened with legal action before a single bit of actual guidance has been given to the industry on these products. Key point there. If we end up in court, we may finally get the regulatory clarity the SEC refuses to provide, but regulation by litigation should be the last resort for the SEC, not the first. Our door remains open. Hopefully the SEC steps up to create the clarity this industry deserves without harming consumers and companies in the process. America could really use us all working together to figure this out right now. So now we have a different angle from another, not different, but similar, but in a different sense from another company. And we see the SEC enforcing its action. Now, I don't know if the SEC here, maybe it's trying to delay the inevitable, of what's going to happen. Because this is going to happen regardless. You can try to delay it as much as you want, but the technology, the innovation is there. Now, does Gensler have the legacy system's interest at hand, and he's trying to protect that and give the power over to these institutions? Is he trying to sway away retail investors? What's happening? I ask you these questions, and this is something for you guys to think about, and comment below and tell me what you think it is, because it has to be something. And there's a lot of, theories at hand, but why do you think this is the case? Even Mark Cuban had something to say. He said, Brian, this is regulation via litigation. They aren't capable of working through this themselves and are afraid of making mistakes in doing so. They leave it to the lawyers, just the people you don't want impacting the new technologies. You have to go on the offensive. Okay? So, comment below, why do you think the SEC is doing this? They've gone after Uniswap, now Coinbase, and they've been after Ripple. Leave your thoughts below. I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe. This is a Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.